Today, we will once again take a look at interesting footage that captures a moment, how a Ukrainian FPV drones destroy entire Russian troops columns in frontline. Footage from a mounted camera showed the FPV drone striking troops and the Russian armored vehicle head-on before detonating in a fiery explosion. Ukrainian forces have taken out a Russian armored vehicle in a devastating drone strike as fighting on the front line rages on. Ukraine's defense ministry showed footage from the camera mounted on the drone as it homed in on its target, and the recording posting on X, but the drone hit the vehicle front-on, immediately causing a huge explosion. The footage did not specify where in Ukraine the incident took place, but said the attack was carried out by the Ukrainian Territorial Defense's 109th Brigade, and the video is accompanied by a caption, "Say hello to Ukrainian FPV drone. Say goodbye to Ukrainian land." The footage emerges as Russia launches its ground offensive, aiming to drive Ukrainian forces out of the east of their country. While Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has been warning for months that his troops are running low on ammunition and has been asking Western leaders for more support. The European Union has passed £50 billion worth of military aid while the US aid package remains held up by Republican lawmakers in Washington, D.C. In recent weeks, Russian President Vladimir Putin has warned of nuclear war after French President Emmanuel Macron said that Western troops could be sent to Ukraine. But Putin said Monday that his country is ready for nuclear war, while Prime Minister of Estonia, Kaja Kallas, told that Putin is afraid of such a conflict despite his bluster. And Kallas also said, "Of course, we have to take everything seriously. What he says, he has been threatening nuclear war for quite some time, but it has been only words." Ukraine claims staggering Russian losses, including more than 13,000 vehicles and 430,000 of Moscow's soldiers, in a massive blow for Vladimir Putin. Ukraine has destroyed around 500 Russian armored vehicles per month since Vladimir Putin's invasion began on February 2022, Kyiv claims. In post on X, formerly Twitter, on Monday, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry wrote, 13,000 Russian armored combat vehicles have been destroyed since the beginning of the full-scale invasion. It's, on average, more than 500 armored vehicles per month, it added, and Ukrainian warriors also destroy Russian weapons with incredible speed. In its regular update on reported Russian losses on Tuesday, Ukraine's defense ministry claimed Russia had lost 432,390 personnel, 6,819 tanks, 13,049 armored fighting vehicles, and also 14,191 vehicles and fuel tanks, 10,698 artillery systems, 1,017 multiple launch rocket systems, 721 air defense systems, 347 airplanes, 325 helicopters, 8,318 drones, 26 ships and boats, and 1 submarine since the conflict started. While the Kremlin is yet to comment on the claims, but has previously admitted Russia has sustained significant losses in Ukraine. Marina Myron, a postdoctoral researcher in the Department of War Studies at King's College London, previously told Newsweek it is very difficult to determine casualties in an ongoing conflict since both sides will try to keep the data secret and inflate the number of adversary casualties. Kyiv says its tallies are approximate, and clarified this month that its daily tally of Russian losses included personnel who were injured as well as killed. Until August last year, Ukraine had referred to losses as liquidated, which was frequently interpreted by news media as indicating killed personnel. But last month, Andriy Kovalyev, spokesman for Ukraine's General Staff, said that Ukraine's loss estimates were total combat losses that included both dead and injured personnel. It came after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's statement on February 25 that 180,000 Russian troops had been killed up to that point in the war. Zelensky also said at the time some 31,000 Ukrainian soldiers had been killed resisting Russia's invasion, the first time Kyiv announced an official death toll of soldiers, though he declined to provide official figures for the wounded and missing. Tuesday's figures come after Putin again warned the West against deploying troops to Ukraine. Hailing his victory in an election dismissed by Western leaders as a sham, the Russian leader warned possible conflict between Russia and NATO would put the world a step away from World War III. On the other hand, Russian volunteer fighters who staged an incursion from Ukraine across Russia's border are within miles of an empty nuclear storage site. The Freedom of Russia Legion, Siberian Battalion, and the Russian Volunteer Corps are fiercely critical of Vladimir Putin's full-scale invasion. Last week, they said they had crossed into the Belgorod and Kursk oblasts. On Sunday, the Siberian Battalion said on Telegram that Russian Liberation Forces had taken control of the administration building in the village of Gorkovsky. The groups staged similar incursions in May 2023. Ukrainian intelligence service had said at the time this had led to Russian forces evacuating nuclear ammunition stockpiles from the Belgorod 22 facility in the region's Gray-Voronsky district. This was not independently verified amid doubts that it could take place unnoticed, while Kremlin-friendly Telegram channel Rybar said at the time nuclear weapons had not been at the site for a long time before the raid. However, the current proximity of anti-Kremlin formations to the site, whose official title is Military Unit 25624 of the Russian military's 12 Chief Directorate, was referred to by the Intel Shizo account. This posts on X, formerly Twitter, about the war in Ukraine using satellite maps and open-source intelligence. 2 lines of advance towards the now empty tactical nuclear weapons depot of Belgorod 22, the post said, next to a map showing terrain where the fighting is taking place near Russian trenches and the Belgorod 22.